Hello and welcome to the 2020 Mercedes-Benz Virtual GP season. We're back for round 11 of the year, and this time for the final time in the US at the legendary Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Taking you on the journey through this penultimate race of the season is myself, Justin Sutton, and of course, Chris Buxton.
Anyone that knows anything about racing will know the name Indianapolis. The Brickyard is famous all across the world. Here is how the Drivers' Championship stands. Kovacic still leading the way, but had his lead quite heavily diminished last week from Belle-Isle. The Benzina pair and Thrustmaster pair doing very, very well in their respective battles. Towards the tail end of the field was a bit of a shuffle as well. We saw some people finishing much higher up, notably the Autoscola No pair doing very, very well in getting further away from the tail end of the field. So lots of positions to decide. As always, the fighting is fierce and very, very tight indeed.
In the Team's Championship, it is just 21 points, but it is Benzina now that leads the way ahead of Logitech, and then a further 42 points down to Thrustmaster in third place, who are comfortably 71 points ahead of Lenovo Legion. That's how things are looking in the Team's Championship. Speaking of that Belle-Isle race, Chris, that was truly something, and we're going to have a quick look at the moment of the race, and this is what caused that difference in points. This is what actually caused Benzina to take the lead by so many points as well, too. So it had knock-on effects, not just in the Team's Championship, but the Drivers' Championship, too. I'm
sure this is haunting Mr. Kovacic as well, and there it was. He was just put off by one of the big shot cars, just making a mistake. They themselves hit the wall. And as we keep saying, one mistake is all it takes. I mean, you can just see from this shot how bumpy Belle-Isle is. And you know, I said it right at the beginning. We both said it right at the beginning. There's the one mistake, and just a tiny, tiny bit too much throttle, and Kovacic's race was completely mullered. Right, so Simon Kovacic can become champion if he finishes on the podium, irrespective of where anybody else finishes. Fourth and the fastest lap. Fifth and Basco, who is standing in for Stefanko this very race. Fifth and Basco doesn't win. Eighth if Vizzy doesn't win and Basco is third or worse. There are various other calculations, but they are the main ones we can focus on. So Stefanko is being replaced. He is racing DTM tonight, so good luck to you, Mud and Stefanko, and I'm sure Basco will do you proud. But Kovacic, I wonder if he'll see this as a bit of an advantage. He hasn't got his usual stablemate to go up against.
Yeah, it's definitely going to change things a little bit. Carl Basco, though, of course, somebody that we know quite well. He's filled in before. He's gotten 3 podiums, in fact, in the Virtual GP League, and that's in only 32 starts, so that's almost 10% of his starts ending up on the podium. 270 points, 15 top 5 finishes. There you can see his previous results in 2015, 16, and 17. Of course, he does commentary as well for the VGP, so great to have somebody of that caliber filling in for Martin Stefanko.
Right, here we are then. It is it's a decent time of the day, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 kilometers, 2.5 miles, which has been done at 1:07, and it is, of course, beautiful American weather, 26 degrees track temperature, which is not too bad. So these guys have nothing to worry about as far as time management is concerned.
No surprise here, Kovacic on pole, but it's not by much, just 0.2 of a second down to Eric Vizzy in the leading Benzina Orland car. Then he's got Daniel Pastor, who continues that great form, David Pichota joining him on that second row. Lucas Pichota, the other Thrustmaster car, starting right behind his brother in 5th position, right alongside Martin Kostulik, who continues to show great pace this season. A fantastic drive for him. Carl Basco, unfortunately, starting down in 9th position, 8.5 tenths. 8.5 tenths off the pace in the end. So he's starting a little ways back, but lots of racing still to come. He can make up lots of positions here. Looking a little bit further back down the grid, Pavel Reigl, you can see in the second Lenovo Legion car, starting quite a ways off of his teammate, actually down in 16th position. Corney really struggling as well, 1.5 seconds off the pace, down in 18th position. But it is the 2 Mogul cars bringing up the rear, both of them more than 2.4 seconds off the pace, really struggling in the the Dallara IndyCar around Indianapolis. The Dallara IndyCars come home. That's what's going on here as we prepare to go racing at the Brickyard for and facing the wrong direction for those who are fans of the oval. They of course go the other direction when they do the oval courses, but with the road course that we have today, 13 corners this layout, and we're away, and it looks like a good start actually for Vizzy, a good start for the Logitech car up at the front, but it looks like the Thrustmaster, or is that the Lenovo? No, it is the Thrustmaster just coming alongside, looking like he just wants to pressure him into turn 1, but no, couldn't quite get alongside. So it is, it's actually Pastor losing positions at the start here. He's going to lose another position to another Thrustmaster car here.
Oh, side by side as they come around turn 4, now into 5. Oh, and they're still side by side. Very nicely done. Oh, no, it was until that moment. I wasn't sure if there was impact there, but now sent off into the dust. That gives David Pichada third position at the moment. But look at this. That's oh, no, Blanchek facing the wrong way. And oh dear, that's that. They've come together in a quite heavy rave. Reigel's been involved in that. That's Vukulchik, who's, I think, back of the surviving pack, it would seem. So, oh my goodness, chaos and anarchy in the opening lap. Also want to mention the Jan Sikora for Autoscola Nobe, starting up in 8th or 9th position. What a great qualifying for him. I think it's been one of his best of the season. As we now come towards the tail end of the lap, they've been flat out from turn 11 around the last few turns. Look at Vizzy defending very hard from David Pichada. He's not going to make a banzai move from that far back, I shouldn't think, coming into turn 1. Slightly further back there is Kodiak in the TP Link car. Wow, both of the big shot cars in the top 10. What a great start for them, but not so much so for Vukulchik, who's coming to the pits. Pavel Reichel in the second Lenovo Legion car, way off the back of the field. Very mixed fortunes, but once again, Kovacic and Eric Vizzy, with David Pichada this time, are top 3.
Yeah, that's tough for Vukulchik. He took some significant damage. He was actually missing a large portion of his front wing, so it wasn't just deformation, but it was actual deletion, more like, of the front wing. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So that's going to be a pretty lengthy pit stop for Vukulchik, and we don't know obviously we don't know the extent of that damage, so for all we know, it could be much worse than what we're aware of, but we're on board with Kodiak. He started, I believe it was in 6th position, actually. It was just behind the Thrustmasters. Yes, he started in 6th position, just behind the Thrustmasters. He's still in 6th position, so he would have gained a position and lost a position if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Yeah, he would have gained a position on Pastor, but then he would have lost a position as well. And there's Basco, actually, who has dropped down as well. He's dropped all the way down into 12th position, getting into turn 1. Look at that, side by side with Kodiak and the Thrustmaster car, and he's gotten through, actually. Kodiak up into 5th position. Basco side by side with the ESET car through turn 2. Inside line for him, outside line 9 now for turn 3. Yep, and
the ESET car's missing a wing. Oh dear, that is not good news. That is Thomas Corney. Talk about bad news. That Costa. Oh no, the battle you were just talking about, Kodiak and Lucas Pichada. Oh dear, that's not how the front wing is supposed to look. That's a very angry IndyCar. Wow, the pit crews are earning their pay. Goodness me, and right behind there is Basco coming past the wounded ESET car of Thomas Corney. Matasia in the second. Oh, in the second TP Link car, I should say. There is Kodiak again. His front wing reshaping from that incident. My oh my, what are we looking at here? But look at Thomas Horror with Big Shot up in 6th, challenging Sikora for 5th place. My goodness, the Autoscola Nobe and Big Shot have been a couple of the teams that have been maybe not towards the sharper end, and they're having a storming race. Oh wow, Horror slamming the door shut as they come into the breakers over turn 1. What a great race they're having, but also they're capitalizing on the fact that others are struggling. I'm very surprised that Corney hasn't come in. He's missing quite a significant chunk of wing. How is he continuing? Yeah. Unless that's a visual error for us, but I'm surprised he's making that car work. But in fairness, he's making the car stick, so I wonder if the damage is disproportionate to what he's actually experiencing. Because he is making that car stick way more than he ought to with half a front wing missing.
Yeah, it's a strange one, and that certainly can happen. It can certainly look different for them than it does for us. So yeah, he's staying out there, and it's not like he's falling down the order too bad. You know, he's certainly not a danger to the other drivers from what I can tell with his driving. He's up to pace and everything. So if he wants to, he can continue on unless he gets a flag waved at him telling him to come into the pits and get those repairs. As Kovacic picks up yet another fastest lap, but we continue with this battle for 5th position between the Big Shot car and the Autoscola Nope car. Again, these are two teams that would desperately love to pick up a nice haul of points here at Indy. So yeah, this is going to mean a lot to both of these drivers and to both of those teams. Looking back up at the front, Eric Vizzi still holding on to the back of Simon Kovacic, less than 1 second at the moment. A 1:10.7 versus a 1:10.6 last lap between Kovacic and Vizzi. So very close between the two of them, and then a 3-second gap down to David Pichota after just over 5 minutes of racing. So clearly these two guys seem to have quite a bit more pace than the rest of the field. But at the moment, if it were to finish like this, certainly, then that would be fantastic news for Simon Kovacic in the Logitech car. He would be exceedingly happy with that result, because of course that would mean that he would win the championship. So Vizzi's going to have to, you know, he's going to have to make an overtake, and he's going to have to hope for some bad luck, which is unfortunate. You know, it's difficult when you're the driver in that position where you just have to hope for some bad luck for your competitor just to keep the championship alive. So I'm sure Vizzi's going to do absolutely everything he can, but ultimately, in the end, it's going to come down to Simon Kovacic in that Logitech car.
Yeah, absolutely. But we've seen Eric Vizzi challenge Kovacic before. I mean, think Circuit of the Americas, where Vizzi got ahead of Simon Kovacic. It did, unfortunately, undo itself later on in the race. I'm fascinated by this particular battle, though. You know, Horror and Jan Sikora. You know, Jan, we've mentioned before, is a veteran of these parts. We've seen Jan do some amazing things in the past, so it's great to see him really challenging for some decent points. As we have a look at a replay from Vukulchik, this was probably going to show what went wrong early in the race. So this is coming through turn 5. And there we go. So he was hit from behind. Well, quite badly hit from behind. And there's another spinner right in front of the ESEC car there that did take that front wing off. And then the next incident happened right in front of them. So, oh, that was error on error on error somewhat. But that is the nature of, you know, very close racing. Even in, you know, these cars that have very high downforce, that's not a high downforce area. So, well, they're not going to be running a lot of downforce. You know, Indianapolis and downforce are two very mutually exclusive phrases, quite frankly. Oh, the Mogul pair. Well, they've gained a few positions through, you know, through the issues of others. But again, those wings, front and back, that's impressive. Are very reshapen. My goodness me, that's impressive.
Someone's been in a sandwich there. That is what's happened. I think they've gotten it front and rear, unfortunately. Having a look at Senol now, actually in the deck spin, who's up in 4th position. He was flirting with a podium position. Was Senol not that long ago? So here he is once again. He does have quite a big gap up to David Pichota. Also, Daniel Pastor has overtaken Jan Sikora for 6th position. He's now 1.3 seconds back from Thomas Hora, and then he's got another 2.5 seconds or so up to Senol. So Pastor certainly, I'm not going to say whether or not he's going to be a podium contender in this race, but certainly a top 4 contender, no doubt about that. I think the sort of progress that he's making, he kind of flew up to the back of Sikora and made that overtake relatively easily from what I've seen. We didn't see that one on screen, but on board with Eric Vizzi in that Benzina Orland car in 2nd position, currently running behind Simon Kovacic, about the same gap as we saw last time we checked in on him, just under 1 second or thereabouts. You can see a 1:10.9 versus a 1:10.9 on the 2 laps last lap. So very similar lap times being put in by both of these drivers. You can see actually Kovacic just pulling away a little bit there through that middle sector. He's just extended the gap to over 1 second, just over 1 second. But that could easily just be down to setup differences with the car. This is a bit of a tricky circuit. There's quite a few low-speed corners, and then you're flat out starting from just about here. Let's see if he stays flat out through this right-hander. Yep, he's actually upshifting through that right-hander, and then, yeah, certainly keeping on the throttle all the way through that banked right-hander to finish out the lap, and then all the way down towards turn 1. And again, we saw they were kissing 300 kph, and I don't even know if that was with push to pass on.
No, fair point. I mean, that won't make you go faster. That'll just make you get there quicker. So, yeah, that's a very good point. Lucas Prachada, well, we saw you in earlier wars. Well, we saw you gain from earlier wars. Let's see what happened. And there we go. That was when he ploughed through and then got collected by the TP-Link car in the opening laps, unfortunately.
I think Kostulik? That was the Kostulik incident?
I think it was, and that's where his front wing got reshaped. Yeah, with Kostulik, who is still in the pits along with Vakulchik, so one of the TP-Links and one of the Dexfins are out. Lucas Prachada and Pavel Weigl both returned to the track as well, so in fairness to them. So unlike when we were at Belle Isle, we lost a quarter of the field very early on. You know, I'm not expecting to see the same thing here. You know, this is one of these tracks that's just more familiar by and large than tracks like Belle Isle. No disrespect to the Isle itself, but it's just one of these tracks that doesn't see a lot of racing. Yet Indianapolis is a track that any racing fan does. Was that someone facing the wrong way? That was either a very weird shadow. Oh, that was close. Pavel Weigl on the back of Michael Blazek. It was. Yeah. It was Corony. That's well, the reshapen wing design is not working for you, sir. Which I'm sure he'll confirm. There he is. The Mogul guys are struggling again. Well, we knew that. I mean, their qualifying put them at the back of the field, and it's not getting any better for them. Oh, the car looked like it was letting go again. There's the other Mogul of Michael Blazek, as Thomas Corony is coming to the pits. So his day's not getting any better. The lead ESET car. There's Pavel Weigl trying to muscle his way. Oh, so close. Michael trying to muscle his way past Blazek for 15th position. So, these guys, even though their race hasn't started well, are continuing on nonetheless and trying to salvage what they can.
Impressive stuff, the fact that they're actually still going with the amount of damage that those Mogul cars have. I can't imagine it's a lot of fun, but here we go, side by side with the inside line though, and much later braking, Blazek is able, he's gone deep into the corner though, the Lenovo coming back at him, Weigl around the outside, a little bit of contact between the two of them is going to make it rather easy actually for Pavel Weigl to take that position up into 14th now, ahead of Blazek, who again has just been having an off season, honestly. As regular viewers will know, we are big fans of Michael Blazek and we know what he can do, and this season has not been representative of that. But here we go, another overtake down into turn 1. No surprise, that is the popular overtaking location, and it looks like Carl Basco is going to claim that 8th place position after going side by side with Stepanovsky, who's still holding on to that top 10 position though. He's got a decent gap of over 3 seconds down to Mateja in the other TP-Link car, and then an even bigger gap down to Sirotech as well. So certainly if Stepanovsky can keep this up, it's looking like a big shock. Two cars in the top 10 result, which would be absolutely huge for them. We mentioned earlier, it is quite tight in the lower half of the field, in the lower half of the championship. So that kind of result could have huge implications in the team championship, in the driver championship. Absolutely enormous. Having a quick look, though, at the leader, Simon Kovacic, he's now built that gap up to 1.2 seconds over Vizzy, and it's now an additional 5 seconds down to David Pichota in the Thrustmaster car in 3rd position.
So it's not just Kovacic running off into the distance. Eric Vizzy is doing a great job hanging on to the back of him, as we now see Thomas Horror and Daniel Pastor swap round, the usual slipstream effect along those very fast corners. There's really nothing you can do about it. If you defend the racing line, you'll just be swept around the inside. So you let the overtake happen and hopefully come after them a bit later on. Oh, Thomas Horror's car getting a bit fidgety. Yeah, that's a bit deep. Coming through the long right-hander, but keeps it under control. Michael Blazek in the pits, that's not really a surprise with the amount of damage. He fought it well, but he's just losing so much time trying to fight his own car. So brings that one in, and we may or may not see him again. Look in the background of that shot. That's Basco on the back of Jan Sikora. So Basco making steady progress through the field. Remember, we saw he was in 12th last we saw him. He's now up to 8th, knocking on the door of 7th position to demote Jan Sikora. But yeah, it ought to be a big shock for the Big Shock team to claim that kind of fall apart. I had to. I'm sorry, I had to do it. That's the one bad pun of the race. So, and well, there we go. So, that's the kind of current championship predictions. So if Kovacic takes top honours, I think it would put him in a unassailable position. Were that the case, particularly with Basco down in 7th place. But, still plenty of time to go, and Eric Vizzi has closed in a little bit. He's back under a second to Kovacic. Now, there was a bit of traffic there. Traffic can be a friend and a foe, particularly at tracks that, like Indy, that's got a very long, fast section. If you catch the back markers there, they'll give you a tow like no one's business. But you catch them in the infield and you will lose a whole lot of time. And Eric Vizzi has capitalised on that. Again, look at their lap times. They're pretty much the only guys in the 110s. So whatever secret Kovacic is employing, Eric Vizzi is doing something very, very similar. And it's giving us a fascinating scrap for the lead.
Impressive stuff. It's been great watching these two. There's been lots of standouts this year. It's been a fantastic, possibly the best season of VGP, and there's been some fantastic seasons of VGP, but this one I really think has I don't know if it's been the format, the drivers, the tracks, a combination of all of the above. It probably is a combination of all of the above, but this pair has really stood out above what has already been a standout season, no doubt about it. It's been impressive to see the way that Kovacic has kind of stepped in and filled that Michael Schmidl role of just really setting the bar quite high for all of the rest of the drivers. And it's been great to see Vizzi come in and challenge that. Maybe not as regularly as we'd like, and there's I'm sure we can look forward to more seasons with these guys. We don't have anything confirmed just yet, but I'm hoping we'll get more confirmed seasons with these guys, and we'll get to see that battle continue to go on, continue to develop and shift back and forth and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, it's been fantastic, and yeah, Vizzi's actually getting closer. He's now gotten that down to less than 7 tenths between himself and Kovacic, and they're just up the road actually from these guys. I think they're probably getting down to the end of turn 1 or into turn 1 right now. It's down to half a second there, so we still got 28 minutes of racing still to go. I'm gonna say there is a very good chance that Vizzi can still win this. He's kept up for this long, so something tells me he's got the ability, he's got the pace to actually win this race.
Oh yeah, undoubtedly. But sadly, the one Achilles heel that Eric Vizzi has been consistency. But yeah, I'd say he's just. He started good and has improved astronomically well to be the one to keep Kovacic honest. Again, I confess, I thought when we saw Kovacic's early performances, he would just get into the lead, and he was gone so many times. So yeah, again, as you were saying earlier, the Michael Schmidl analogy. And he did it time and again. I thought, oh, well, okay, our champion is decided here. It has taken till the penultimate round for that to really be the case, and both of our leaders are in. So it did look like, I wonder whether hopefully Eric Vizzi managed to slow down before the pit entry line, because he was cutting that a little close. You can, if you speed in the pit line, I believe it's a 10-second immediate slam dunk penalty. So we'll see. If Vizzi loses a whole bucket load of time to Kovacic out of nowhere, we know why. But David Ricciardo has opted to continue. What are we about? Approaching the halfway stage, so that's absolutely fine. As the pit crews go to work, not that we can see them, but they are doing their best. And vast majority of the... Well, there went the idea of a 10-second penalty, but couldn't quite do it. Fair play, Eric Vizzi, but he's going to try and string around for the inside of turn 2, and he's got him. Oh, wow, what a great move from Eric Vizzi. Nails Kovacic in the pit. Wow. I didn't expect that. Wow. I expected them both to drop at, comparatively the same time. Eric Vizzi's like, nope, my turn for the top. I grant you he's not in the lead yet, but I think it's fair to say that because everybody came in at once, David Ricciardo was probably just pushing it, maybe trying counter-strategy, whatever, but this is the effective race lead right here. Oh, it's on.
I think David Pichada is going to be a little bit closer. You know, they had to be a little tentative through that opening sector of corners because they were side by side. So certainly that will allow Pichada to close up a little bit. But yeah, he's in the pits now. I don't think we're going to necessarily see him coming out as these guys are going to be going into turn one. Again, it was about 5 seconds or thereabouts between second and third that we saw previously. But yeah, the leading Thrustmaster car in the pits now. He should come out a few seconds or more behind this this leading pair as Eric Vizzi continues to hold on to that lead. Now that's going to be very interesting. Of course, we saw Vizzi struggling to get by. He was all right when it came to keeping up with Kovacic. The trouble he was having was actually getting alongside the Logitech car. And I do wonder if Eric Vizzi is going to, or if Simon Kovacic is going to run into the same sort of issue running in second position. Kovacic has been given a 40-second stop-and-go penalty for speeding in the pits. So it wasn't Vizzi, it was Kovacic.
It was Kovacic
that sped in the pits. That's going to drop him 40 seconds down. That's down to outside of the top 10. And that is exactly what we needed to keep the championship alive. You couldn't script this any better. Well, I guess you could script it, but I mean, that is unbelievable. He has, and he got overtaken so he's got the mental strain of knowing that he was overtaken legitimately, and he's got the penalty on top of that. Ooh,
which he's now serving, but bear in mind it's a stop-go penalty. You've got to add time for slowing down, getting to the stall, and getting going. And that's a minute gone, near enough.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Like I said, I thought it was Vizzi that was coming in a bit fine, but no, it was Kovacic. I thought it was a 10-second slam dunk penalty. It's very specific to what the rules of the series are. So no, I got that completely wrong. And Kovacic will be livid. Are we seeing kinks in the armour? You know, when the pressure is really on, is Kovacic beginning to crack? And Vizzi
30 seconds. 30 seconds before he even came to a stop, by the way. He's going to lose another 5 seconds coming out of the pits. So, yeah, we're looking at a minute 15 in lost time.
Ouch. And that's going to put him potentially in the midst of those that are fighting for the tail end positions at the moment. So... Whoa! Oh, that Drivers' Championship. Again, we could be forgiven for thinking it was all done. Kovacic just needed to stay in a podium position. That's all he needed. And that I mean, if he gets into a podium now, then dear God, he deserves it. But yeah, this was not a script I'd have written. Nowhere near it. Out he comes, and he is going to be all but last. As we've lost 4 from the race, he's coming out in 15th position.
A minute 19. A minute and 19 seconds for speeding in the pits. That is harsh.
That is very harsh. I mean, that's the rules of the series. As Eric Vizzi is careful. He's now got back markers. That be Pavel Reigl that he's catching up to. Senel now up to 3rd. I mean, you said earlier he was knocking on the door of the podium not that long ago. Could this be his opportunity? Well, it is his opportunity. He's done his pit stop. He just needs to keep it, on the straight and narrow. He's got about 2.5 seconds-ish back to Daniel Pastor. He just needs to keep it on the road. But as we've already seen, mistakes are easy to come across. Wow, Kovacic will be furious, but he's now a lap down. Simon Kovacic, a lap down. When have you last heard that sentence?
It's going to be interesting to see how much he can fight back. If he can get up towards the top 10. Again, just under 22 minutes of racing still to go. By the way, David Pichada 111.4 last lap. Senal in the Dexfin 111.4. He is matching the leading Thrustmaster car's pace. I don't know if Daniel Pastor is going to have the pace to catch up and overtake that Dexfin car for the final podium position. A 111.3 last lap now for David Pichada. He's picked up the pace ever so slightly, found a 10th. That could just be fuel being burned off. A little bit further back inside the top 10, Sikora trying to defend his 7th place position from Mateja in the TP Link car as they go side by side into turn 1. Outside line for the TP Link car. Can't hang it around and into turn 2 is not able to stay alongside. So that is going to be Sikora maintaining that position, probably for the rest of the lap. You know, you could make an argument that turn 8 is an overtaking location, which we've still got about a handful of corners before we find turn 8. But there's a nice stretch of road between turns 7 and 8. The problem is 8 isn't too heavy of a braking zone, and that straight, which we're on now, is just not quite long enough to get alongside. Even if you use push to pass and you're right in the slipstream, yeah, you're not quite getting alongside. So this is what it looks like with the championship. Kovacic would be 17 points ahead, which would still mean that Eric Vizzi is heavily on the back foot heading into the final race. So yeah, he would have to hope for some more bad luck for Kovacic in the next race as well. Not just this race, which he's already gotten that bad luck. He's already gotten that gift, you could say, has Eric Vizzi. But he's going to need another gift at Suzuka as well, too. Here we go with Mateja and the TP link. Round 2 between himself and Sikora. It's going to be an identical situation. He's not going to go to try to go the outside, though, but this time Sikora didn't brake as late. He didn't go as deep. I noticed that last time. Sikora braked very, very late, went deep into the corner, and was able to maintain the position in that way. So Mateja braked a little bit earlier this time. I think he was going to cut underneath him, try the outside line around turn 2, but Sikora braked at his normal spot, was able to take the apex, didn't go deep this time, no opportunity for the cutback. You know, and that's the kind of nuanced racing that I love to see in VGP. You know, that's the kind of point and counterpoint, punch and counterpunch stuff that we love to see, especially from the veterans.
Oh, totally, yeah. I was just thinking to myself, wouldn't Vizzi have loved to have actually put the lap on Kovacic? Kovacic was in the pit already, but wouldn't it have been great if he'd actually lapped him? How big a smile would he have had on his face? Also, big props to Basco. Jumps in out of nowhere, haven't seen him all season, and boom, he's challenging for 5th position. Also for Thomas Horror for hanging on to a top 5 position for Big Shock for a while, as Jan Sikora has finally relinquished that 7th, but he put up a damn good fight to hang on to it for as long as he did. Not to say the battle is done. Oh, you're not going to make a move there. That's nowhere near long enough straight for that. But, you know, Jan Sikora is still doing what he can to keep the pressure on. But he's not a fan of that turn 6, that long right-hander he's just gone through. He's made a few mistakes there, I've noticed. He's gone a little bit too deep. But these cars are skitty at the best of time. Here we are again, battle for 5th position. Oh, as Basco got a little bit out of sync there through turns 9 and 10. Yeah, as you said earlier, Justin, turn 1 is the best opportunity for overtaking your flat out from turn 11. Oh, push to pass had to be involved there, surely, because he just absolutely left Thomas Horror for dead. And again, Horror would know there's nothing he can do about it. The rate of closure is just too big. And through into 5th position rather is Karl Basco. Great effort there, just been minding his own business. Started 8th, went down to 12th before the end of lap 1, now finds himself in 5th place. He's kept himself out of trouble, and that's a solid result. So fair play to Karl Basco.
That's what experience gets you. You know, he might be lacking a little bit in raw pace, and I do mean a little bit. I don't know if you noticed. He's lapping in the mid-111s as well, as Kovacic looking to gain one more position, gets himself up into 13th around the outside on the Lenovo Legion of Pavel Rigel. Makes it look rather easy. Gets it done before this flat-out zone. I wonder if that means that Rigel's possibly going to use some push-to-pass. Who knows? What is in his mindset, if he even wants to try and retake that position, because that could end up just losing him time. He might just be enjoying the slipstream as actually he's Kujela, excuse me, is actually the next car, so that should be an easy overtake for Kovacic. So if he can get up to the back of Kujela, but Kujela is still on the lead lap, and this is
oh, it's the pit stop.
Oh, did he race coming out of the pit, or speed coming out of the pits, I wonder?
It's possible he may have actually dropped the pit lane speed limiter too early.
Right,
again,
that can happen.
Speeding in the pit lane is speeding in the pit lane, irrespective of whether you do it on the way in the middle, or the way out, doesn't matter. And yeah. I think that's what that replay was for. He just dropped. He saw that Vizzi was alongside him, and just drop that. I mean, we are talking by half a car at most. He dropped it too early, so such a costly mistake. But that's racing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it was great to see Vizzy taking the lead, and you know, not just being handed to him because of that penalty, but actually taking that lead coming out of the pits was really something special to see. Really good respect from both drivers, which I always love to see as well too. There we can see the points changing, of course, as Kovacic continues to gain positions. It's now 19 points. So again, you know, with every position he gains, it becomes harder and harder for Vizzy to win the championship next time out at Suzuka. Sikora stays behind for the meantime. But just to finish my thought on Basco, great, you know, they couldn't have picked a better person to fill in as Sikora goes deep once again. Another little lock up there. But Basco just slowly gaining positions, and that's that experience. You know, that's all those race starts, the history that he has with VGP from 2015, 2016, all those years that he was getting those podiums, those top fives and whatnot. But it really is incredible to see how he's just come in and gained all those positions, 12th to 5th, as you said. I don't think he's going to be pressuring Senel. At some point, Pastor has overtaken Senel for 3rd position, the Lenovo Legion getting up into the podium positions, and actually finding a couple of seconds over that car there, Senel in the deck spin. But he's going to get, it looks like he's going to get yet another 4th place finish, which is, you know, he's again been another one of the standouts this season. Senel has put in some really, really impressive results.
Yep, unarguably there. And once again, he's just doing the consistent results. A shame that podium's just eluded him. However, still 14 minutes to go. Anything can still happen. We will see. Oh, yes, Sikora and Mateja are swap round for 7th position. That'll be on the start-finish straight, I would think. And as we continue to watch Senel continue to chase after Pastor in the background. There he is. There is Basco. You just saw at the top of the shot. So that is what's about 7 seconds, give or take. So it's the length of that straight between 7 and 8 in visual terms. 13 minutes to close that down. Yeah, he's going to rely on a bit of bad luck for Senel to do that. However, we will see. He's still got Thomas Horror not too far behind him, about 1.8ish or 1.6, depending on where they are on the timing beams. So he can't just concentrate on eyes forward. He does still have to keep an eye on the big shot car behind. But again, both big shot cars in the top 10. Sadly, Kodiak has had a dirty trouble, but Jan Sikora getting potentially a big haul of points. Wow, Jan Sikora is now 4 seconds ahead of Mateja. So that battle has completely changed around as we switch to Daniel Pastor, who's got 3.5 seconds-ish back to Senel. So nothing immediately to... about 3 seconds on the dot, actually. Between himself and Senel, so nothing immediately to worry about, but it is the sort of gap that can disappear in the midst of back market battles. But I wonder, I think he's closing in on David Pichada for 2nd, so we might have a different podium battle. Here is a replay from Daniel Pastor. This will be where he has gained that 4th position from the Dextrin car. Slipstream through turn 13. Maybe a bit of push to pass going on there as well. And a straightforward pass for the Lenovo Legion car to take that 4th position. Nicely done.
Yeah, the Dextrin not fighting too hard. I think, rightly knew that Pastor was the quicker driver. Again, it's such small margins we're seeing at this track. It is a short lap, obviously, just over 70 seconds to complete the entirety of the lap. And that's partly because we don't have that chicane at the end of the lap. They are just absolutely flat out, which is... it's at the part of the circuit with the banking as well, going into that final corner, so they can really carry that speed into that final corner onto the start-finish straight, which is actually where I sat for the 2002 U.S. Grand Prix, as Vizzy makes his way past some traffic. Right there, as you can see, the 2nd layer of the overhang kind of starts, where the shadows start, is where I sat in 2002. And got to hear those screaming V10s, and these guys are getting. Was that actually Vizzy on Kujela? I think that was. Yeah, that was Vizzy just overtaking Kujela, which means we could still see a battle between Kovacic and Vizzy If Kovacic can close up here, he could try to unlap himself.
It's certainly doable. I mean, wow, 1:10.6 last time around for Kovacic. Yeah, that's what you called that one. Cagello's like, nope, not getting involved in that at all. You know where you are in the pecking order. You know if you're the quicker teammate or the slower one. But yet, that is indeed our championship protagonists, right next to each other on track, but 10 positions apart. My goodness me. It's not often you get to say that.
No, it's really not. And this would be very interesting. Now, the thing is, when you go to unlap yourself, it's kind of the unspoken rule, or maybe it is a spoken rule among... I'm not a racing driver, so I won't claim to know if it's spoken or unspoken, but generally you should only be unlapping yourself if you're significantly faster than the car that's ahead of you, that's on the lead lap. You know, if you're only a tenth or so quicker over the course of a lap, then maybe you don't want to be putting your car directly in front, because then you're just going to be picking up the blue flag right away if you're not able to build that gap after making the overtake. So I do wonder if Kovacic will actually attempt to unlap himself, because it's not a massive pace difference between himself and Vizzy, which we saw the evidence of that through the entirety of the opening stint of this race. We saw just how evenly matched those two drivers were. So I don't know if Kovacic is going to actually attempt to unlap himself, but I think it's maybe a point of pride that he finished as close behind Vizzy as possible, just to show that, you know, he has that same pace. Maybe it'll just be a mental boost for himself, you know, to say, yeah, I definitely had the pace to win this race, had the pace to fight with the lead, for the lead. So yeah, as Mateja picks up another little bit of a lockup there on the front wheel. And this is Vizzy coming in for his second stop after just setting the fastest lap, actually, at 1:10.6. So Eric Vizzy comes in to the pits now. Will we see anybody else coming into the pits on this lap, or will we see anybody staying out for longer? I would love it if somebody could pull out a magical one stop. That would be truly interesting. But for the sake of the championship, I'm hoping Vizzy wins.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It would be his first individual win, because Benzina won a previous team event. Because I remember Martin Stefenko going utterly bonkers when they did that. That was a Monza. And once again, we're seeing the entire field coming in at once, or most of it at least. And once again, it's David Piccata that is bucking the trend. Fair enough. But yeah, I think this will actually be Eric Vizzy's first individual win, and you can't say he hadn't earned it. Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, the penalty was obviously there for Kovacic, but Vizzy was already ahead of him when that penalty was served. So yeah, I think this will be a very deserved win. I really hope I haven't just commentated cursed you, Eric. I will take it 100% on my own shoulders if I have, but I mean, you got to say he's really has had the command of this.
He really has. It's been impressive stuff. The only thing we lost out on was a potential fight back for Kovacic, who has just picked up the fastest lap. That's not a massive improvement, though, going to a high 1:10.5 versus the 1:10.6 that Vizzy put in. So I think that's just another way, actually. As Mateja's lost it, I think that's at turn 4, I believe that is. Yeah, it's looking like that was at turn 4. Is that the same spot where I saw him lock up just a minute ago? I think it might have been, actually.
That's been a common locking up spot. Is turn 4? Yeah, 4 and 6 seem to be the.
It's a tricky one. It's deceptively tricky, but Mateja's continued on. I don't think he's picked up any sort of damage as a result of that. And now this is Kovacic, actually, and Mateja.
It's on Sikora.
On Sikora, excuse me. Yeah, it's Kovacic on Sikora for 8th position. So, again, oh my god. This fight back is absolutely insane. Okay, there we go. He's going to dive into the pit stop. Thank goodness. Yeah, that is going to save us a little.
Yeah, again, because of that penalty that he had to serve, his pit strategy is very askew now from everybody else, as Stepanovsky is also in the pits. So most people have, and Piccata is now coming in to serve his final one. I think this is going to be the last stop we will see. So it's very big gap. Well, it's one very big gap up front. Okay, that's David Piccata now coming into the pits. It's going to be curious to see where he comes out in relation to Eric Vizzy, because that gap's been comfortably around 7 to 8 seconds for quite a while. So let's see where David Pichada reappears. Oh, imagine if he nailed Eric. What a turnaround that would be. No, he doesn't. There we go. I was just thinking, I know he's got to come in, but surely he can't turn his car around that fast.
No.
But it should still be a comfortable podium for Pichada. Oh, Pastor! Wow, he's pulled that out of the bag. If he's going to claim a second, damn, he's done a stormer. In which case, after the pit stop, well, there you go. He's now into the 10s. So, yeah, the car is a bit lighter, but my goodness. So David Pichada, I wonder if the overcut has bitten him somewhat. He's lost time somewhere because he was comfortably in second, was he not?
Yeah, no, yeah, he definitely was. I mean, Pastor has, had his problems this race. Still back to 19 points, or still 19 points between Kovacic and Vizzy if things are to finish as they are now. But yeah, I mean, I think that's got to be, that's got to put Pastor in contention for driver of the day, I think. What a fight back into second place. That is absolutely incredible considering the race difficulties that he has had. That is really, really impressive stuff for Daniel Pastor. The Lenovo Legion driver he's going to be thrilled with that. Reigl, unfortunately, hasn't had the best of races. He's down in 14th position, only ahead of one Autoscola car and Lucas Pichada, who's had a nightmare of a race, unfortunately for him. Definitely not representative of his pace this season. So that's an unfortunate hit to the team standings for Thrustmaster. Actually, is I think a big part of that. The Pichada brothers were actually level on points coming into this race, if I remember correctly. So that will mean that David Pichada will take the lead in terms of the Thrustmaster inter-team battle, you could say. And this is Kovacic on the back of Siratek for 11th position. Is that Siratek? No, that's actually Vizzy. Yeah, that is Eric Vizzy up ahead of him.
It is.
Yep, so he is closed up to the back of him, and let's see if he goes for the overtake.
I doubt Eric will fight him. I mean, Eric's got no reason to fight him. What is there between... Well, we can't tell what there is between Kovacic and Siratek, unless we can see down the road. Well, he's not immediately there. I would imagine, yeah, like you say, there's a bit of mental game going on here. Eric might... fend him off. We've got a couple of laps to go now. I think it would be too risky for Eric to fight really hard. I mean, he might just try and say, yeah, I can see you're playing the mind game, but I'm going to play it back for a little bit. But if there was a massive banzai going on there from Kovacic, I don't think Eric would fight it too much. He surely doesn't want to cost himself the win. Oh God, especially he's got a lot of company ahead of him. So I think that's actually Siratek just down the road.
It is. I was just thinking, what if Vizzy, took it easy through turns 1 through 7? You know what I mean? And just made it that little bit harder for Kovacic to overtake that ESET car that they're coming up to.
Can you imagine if Kovacic overtakes Siratek, gains that extra point, and it's that 1 point he wins the championship by? Oh, the scenes!
Oh,
the scenes! So 2 minutes 10 on the clock as they come over the line, so it's near enough 2 laps. Ooh, don't ram into the back of the back marker. But of course, like you say, because the blue flag effect is going to be going on for Eric Vizzy, Kovacic is like, you carry on. Be my guest.
Yeah.
But I would, if I was in Kovacic's position, that's exactly what I'd do. I'd be like, no point me overtaking you. You actually give me an advantage over people I'm racing against. So, yeah, wow. This is not what Eric Vizzy would have planned for.
What a weird sequence of events that has turned out that way. That essentially the race leader is setting the pace for the championship leader to determine how many points he can get. Actually, yeah, because essentially Vizzy's pace is now dictating Kovacic's pace. So Vizzy will now decide whether or not Kovacic overtakes Korony. Is Stepanovsky in the pits? No, he was driving near the pit entrance. Okay, yep, that we've seen that. We saw that happen at Belle Isle as well too. I want to say that even was Stepanovsky that did that. I don't know if he's just trolling us commentators, but but. It's been a great race for Stepanovsky and for Thomas Hoare, for both of the big shot cars. In fact, both the big shot cars are in the top 10, and neither of the Logitechs are. mull on that for a moment.
Wow. Again, if you were a betting man, you'd have amazing odds on that.
You would. You would.
Looks like Kijalis had to come in. Oh no, with 1 lap to go. Oh no, that's a shame. But Eric Vizzi is now really stuck in the quandary of what to do now. He's gone past, is it both of the ESETs he's gone past? No, he's only gone past one of them. So Thomas Corney's probably away down the road. So that situation probably resolves itself now. But they should be meeting the checker flag next time around. It really depends. Oh, that's going to be close. It really depends where the checker flag falls, actually. But we will see. Final lap, there it is. So, wow, your winner here at the Brickyard for Benzina Orlen. You got to hand it to him. It's Eric Vizzi. What a race for the newcomer. And fastest lap right to the end by about 0.04 of a second. Oh, Eric Vizzi. Absolute round of applause, sir. Pastor second, David Pritchard third. Great effort there. Senol just outside the podium, but another solid response. But Basco, yes, you celebrate, sunshine. You're not going to need that car again. In 5th place. Again, great effort from Taras Hara for Big Shock in 6th position. Jan Sikora, again, a strong result for you for Autoscolano in 7th position. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Matasia, we saw you drop to 10th not that long ago, and you've clawed your way back up to 8th for TP Link. Great effort there. And Stepanovsky, like you said earlier, Justin, both Big Shocks inside the top 10. That's really going to reshuffle the tail end order of the teams. Great stuff. And Thomas Corney. Oh, we didn't see your VR shots this time, Mr. Corney. Never mind. But I think he's the last car on the lead lap. So there we go. Well, I wouldn't have put money on this podium, but it's well deserved. Eric Vizzi on the top, Daniel Pastor second, and David Pichada rounding out the top 3. Then Senol 4, Basco 5, Horace 6, Sikora 7, Matasia 8, Stepanovsky 9, and Corney rounding out the top 10. Fastest lap by Eric Vizzi on the final lap as well. Absolutely stunning stuff. You never normally see a top 10 without Kovacic in it, and there he is in 11th spot. Siratek 12, Rigel 13, Kujela 14, Kavarik in 15th, Lucas Pachada last car on track. We lost both moguls of Michael Blazek and Matej Korny, and TP Link of Kostalik and Dexfin of the Korchik.
What a race. What a race. I'm excited to see the team championship points in just a minute here, but first we'll start with the drivers. It is still, of course, Kovacic leading the way, but it is now down to just 20 points. That fastest lap for Eric Vizzi, giving him just 1 extra point, so 20 points, which means Vizzi needs a hand as we head towards Suzuka. You can see Stefanko in 3rd position, 185 points. He's not that far behind Eric Vizzi, but he's 29 points off of the lead. Looking a little bit further back, Jan Sikora in 16th position, Martin Kostulik down to 15th position. He's had some difficult times recently. Stepanovsky up to 55 points, and unfortunately, again, it is still the 2 moguls bringing up the rear, 37 and 36 points respectively. Now look at this. After 2 top 5 finishes, that is a pretty big gap. That is 52 points gap that Benzina now has in the team's championship, but that is going to do it for the penultimate round of the 2020 Mercedes-Benz Virtual GP season. I want to thank Chris, and from myself, Justin Sutton, thank you everybody for watching. We will see you next time for the final race of the season from Suzuka.